During the reign of the Persian Empire, a notable emphasis was placed on fairness and justice. The rulers of the empire believed in thorough and meticulous procedures when determining a criminal's sentence. They firmly held the belief that a first-time offender should not face capital punishment, and that the positive aspects of a criminal's character should be considered before deciding on an appropriate punishment. However, when someone was deemed deserving of punishment, the Persians ensured that it was both severe and inventive. The penalties they devised were among the most extraordinary and severe ever witnessed. Unfolding like a terrifying nightmare, justice in ancient Persia was far from immediate. Here are the most insane punishments during the Persian Empire. Turning your flesh into seating. Seizing a moment to establish a precedent, King Darius made a chilling decision to execute Persian judge Sisams upon discovering his involvement in bribery. In the eyes of Darius, the Persian courts needed to embody absolute impartiality and fairness, leaving no room for corruption. With Sisams' punishment, Darius aimed to ensure that his successor would not dare to repeat the same grievous mistake. But the termination of Sisams' life was merely the commencement of a grotesque series of events. Darius commanded that, after his neck was mercilessly slashed, the executioners should strip away every inch of his flesh, transforming it into macabre strips of human leather. In a macabre act, these strips were meticulously fashioned into a chair, its grotesque appearance serving as a constant reminder of Sisams' transgressions. To add a further twist of horror, the king directed his artisans to stitch together this chair of human hide. Henceforth, the successor to Sisams would be compelled to preside over trials while seated upon a throne crafted from the very flesh of his own father. The weight of this abominable seat, formed from the remains of Sisams, would serve as a haunting reminder of the consequences that awaited those who succumbed to the allure of bribery. King Darius found solace in the belief that they had finally attained a judge who would be forever mindful of the dire repercussions that befell those who succumbed to corruption. Little did anyone realize the psychological torment that awaited Sisams' own son, who now assumed his father's position as judge. Each day, as he dispensed justice, he was compelled to sit upon a chair formed from his own flesh, a chilling symbol of the sins of the past and a constant reminder of the heavy burden he bore as the new arbiter of justice in Persia. Being submerged in a sea of rubble, in the depths of ancient Persia, a truly horrific form of punishment awaited only the most egregious offenders. Those who had committed acts of high treason or transgressions against the gods would face a fate so unimaginably dreadful: asphyxiation by ash. This was a sentence reserved for those who had crossed the most forbidden boundaries, plunging them into a realm of unspeakable horror. Within the confines of a towering structure, standing at a height of 23 meters, the Persians maintained a hollowed-out edifice. Its interior was bereft of anything but a chilling combination of ashes and ominous wheels. At the pinnacle of this ominous tower, a sloping platform awaited its unfortunate victims. Once secured, the offender would be ruthlessly rolled toward the precipice and hurled into the abyss below, descending like a lifeless weight. The fall itself, though harrowing, was only the beginning of the condemned's torment. As they plummeted towards the heart of the tower, bones may have broken, but the ashes that filled the chamber ensured their survival for a time, just long enough to endure the agonizing, protracted death devised by their captors. Executioners stood at the ready, their hands turning the wheels with cruel intention. As the wheels spun, a tempest of ash engulfed the inmate, forcing its way into their nose and mouth. Helpless and overwhelmed, the individual would succumb to a suffocating death, their last breaths choked out by the very substance meant to seal their grim fate. This abominable method of execution, as horrifying as it may seem, was not exclusive to the dark annals of Persian history. In fact, even biblical accounts bear witness to its use. It was upon the summit of the Tower of Ashes that a corrupt Jewish priest met his ultimate demise, paying the price for his transgressions. In the aftermath of his death, his loved ones were left without the solace of a proper burial, forever denied the closure that tradition and respect demanded. As the Bible's account concludes, it resolutely declares, and it was precisely what he deserved. In the annals of ancient Persia, this punishment served as a chilling reminder of the price one paid for crossing boundaries, whether they be of treasonous nature or sacrilege against the divine. It stood as a testament to the uncompromising severity of justice and the depths of human cruelty unleashed upon those deemed deserving of such a ghastly fate. Like a torrent of liquid gold down your throat, the demise of Valyrian, the Roman emperor, at the hands of Persian forces possessed an air of macabre horror reminiscent of the darkest tales from the realm of fantasy. However, the actual truth behind his tragic end proved to be even more horrifying. Valyrian, once a mighty ruler, found himself reduced to a personal slave in the service of the Persian monarch. Bound tightly at his wrists and feet, Valyrian was paraded before the very soldiers who had once pledged their allegiance to him. In a cruel twist of fate, he became the subject of relentless mockery and derision, subjected to every conceivable form of humiliation. The Persian ruler, Shapur, revelled in his dominance over Valyrian, cruelly exploiting his once exalted status. One particularly twisted act of Shapur's sadistic amusement involved forcing Valyrian to kneel on his hands and knees, humbly serving as a living mount for the Persian ruler to mount his horse. This degrading display of power served as a sinister precursor to the ultimate fate that awaited Valyrian. In a startling act of brutality, Shapur grew bored with his plaything, and his amusement gave way to a thirst for bloodshed. Valyrian's torment escalated to a gruesome climax as he was subjected to an unspeakable fate. The Roman emperor was drenched in molten gold, his body engulfed in scalding, liquid metal. The excruciating agony he endured was a testament to the depths of sadism that Shapur was willing to inflict upon his captive. But Shapur's malevolence did not end with Valyrian's agonizing demise. Determined to forever immortalize his conquest, the Persian ruler resorted to an even more chilling act. Valyrian's lifeless body was subjected to a process of preservation through taxidermy, forever transforming him into a grotesque relic. His once regal form, stripped of its flesh, was stuffed with straw and displayed in a Persian shrine, a ghastly testament to the wealth and power of the conqueror, crafted from the remains of a fallen emperor. The fate of Valyrian stands as a haunting reminder of the depths to which human cruelty can descend. In the annals of history, his tragic tale serves as a chilling testament to the capricious nature of power and the unrestrained brutality that can accompany it. Dividing society by trees, in the twilight days of the Persian Empire, a gruesome fate awaited those who dared to engage in thievery. A shockingly brutal penalty awaited those who were caught stealing from travelers or causing harm upon the highways of the vast empire. The punishment was swift and merciless, splitting the offender in two, as if torn asunder by dark forces. The executioners would seek out two trees with crowns that loomed close together. With meticulous precision, they would bind these trees together, their trunks tightly secured by ropes. The helpless criminal, his or her legs tightly bound, would be hoisted over the treetops, suspended in a precarious position. At the zenith of this macabre spectacle, the rope binding the trees would be abruptly severed. In an instant, the two trees, now liberated from their earthly constraints, would snap apart with a resounding force, hurtling skyward with astonishing velocity. The condemned thief, still firmly attached, would be subject to this cataclysmic release, his body unable to withstand the violent separation that followed. In a grisly display, his form would be torn asunder, split in two by the unrestrained power of the trees. Moments later, the broken body of the thief would be left suspended from the branches, a grotesque and chilling sight for all who passed by. Where just moments before, the criminal had preyed upon defenseless pedestrians, now his lifeless corpse would serve as a haunting reminder of the consequences that awaited those who chose a life of thievery. The Persians believed that anyone who traversed this stretch of road would be confronted with a sobering lesson, a stark reminder of the dire consequences that accompanied a life of crime. It served as a macabre theatre of justice, where the ultimate punishment was meted out with ruthless efficiency, leaving a lasting impression on the minds of those who bore witness to its grisly aftermath. Thanks for watching the video, and if you found it informative, please like and subscribe to Time Capsule for similar content. We look forward to sharing more knowledge with you in the future. Until then, take care.